It's an amazing Saturday, and I'm glad, as usual, to be here again. Sorry, yesterday's video was cut off because of memory, and I've done something about it. So we are still continuing on entrepreneurship series, and today we'll be talking about who is an entrepreneur. But this is part two of who is an entrepreneur. So in the first part one, when we talked about who is an entrepreneur, the whole thing I said yesterday was just that an entrepreneur is that person who solves the problem of the society, using products or services, as business to address the challenges or problem as people want it. And in the process, deliver quality service at a fair price. So that's basically what an entrepreneur is. And I say they do this because first they listen. When they listen, they understand what the people want. Number two, they pay attention. They pay attention to issues and developments. And thirdly, they observe. They observe trends and evolutions. These are the things that help them to solve the societal problems. And I was talking about the benefits, we derive from them. But having said that, let's go to today because we have a number of things to sort out, and I don't want a situation where the video will be extended because of timing. So we want to look at the personal traits of an entrepreneur, the personal traits of an entrepreneur. So the first personal trait of an entrepreneur is the fact that an entrepreneur is a go-getter. Now, who's a go-getter? A go-getter is somebody who is internally motivated, who is self-motivated. Now, in the theory of motivation, there are two dimensions. You have external motivation and internal motivation. Now, external motivation are when the factors that ignite your motivations are external. That's when they're outside of you. While when the factors that ignite your motivation are internal, are things that are within you. Now, the argument more often than not is that for those who are ignited by external motivation, if there is a variation in that external factor, which is of course beyond their control, it is going to directly affect their performance or affect their vision or affect whatever it is that they are doing. So that's for you to understand what fuels your motivation as an entrepreneur. Now, having said that, we now go over to the second one. And the second one is the fact that an entrepreneur is very passionate. Very passionate. By passionate means is that he's completely sold out to, completely devoted, completely committed, both intellectually and emotionally to a course of action. So he doesn't see it as stress. He doesn't see it as strain. He works morning till night. He doesn't know morning, afternoon, night. He doesn't know when it's sunny or rainy. He is about his purpose, focused on achieving that which he set out for. That is an average entrepreneur for you. And in so doing, the next powerful thing is that entrepreneurs are resilient. They are very, persistent. Very persistent. How are they persistent? It means that they have this resilient spirit that keeps keeping on, even when the odds are against them, because they believe. That is why I keep warning. If you're an entrepreneur or an intending entrepreneur, you must define your course of action. What is it that motivated you to even start in the first place? Was it circumstances or was it vision? If it's vision, it's going to last the test of time. But if it's circumstances, I can bet you when those circumstances change, it affects your vision. So an entrepreneur is very persistent in keeping on. As a result, it brings us to the next one, which is that the entrepreneur is consistent. In the place of effort, he's always there. He shows up every day because he believes in the cause he has committed himself to. So he's up and about. He's always heads up. He's always on point. He's always putting in the effort that is needed. Whether he feels like it or not, whether he's giving the result or not, he's at it. That's an entrepreneur. So with the little I have said so far, be marking yourself if you're an entrepreneur and what manner of entrepreneur are you. Now, another very powerful, quality of an entrepreneur is that he is problem focused. He encapsulates the problem. He tries to trap the crux of the matter. So whatever he's doing is, a lot of people, well, that is what it is. Everything has an adulterated part, because I can also tell you that a lot of people are in the business for the profit, not to solve any problem. But a true entrepreneur is there to solve a problem, because there is a satisfaction he derives from solving problem and sees his profits as a reward. Right? So he is problem focused, problem eccentric. Is about, because the essence of focusing on the problem is to create relief or satisfaction or quality assurance to his customers. That's what an entrepreneur is. An entrepreneur is that person who has excellent communication skills. Excellent. And mind you that when an entrepreneur is problem focused, he pursues excellence. He wants to leave a mark. He wants to put an indelible imprint that I was here or I did this. Now, having said that, an entrepreneur is an excellent, troubleshooter in that aspect. But now let's come to another quality of the entrepreneur. He has excellent communication skills. He understands the act of communication. I have always said that people should be wary, because communication is only 7% spoken words, like I'm speaking to you. 38%, tonality, the tone you're using to communicate, and a whopping 55% body language. So sometimes you are saying what you're not saying, or you're saying something and people are saying something else. So the man knows how to communicate in context. In context means that which has in mind, without adding or removing, he's able to convey it to another person, because that skill is particularly needed in marketing. When we come to marketing, I'm going to tell you how communication plays a vital role. All right? Now, in this sense, as he is communicating, he listens more than he speaks, because he understands that business is all about problem. If you can identify the problem, you don't have a business. Shikina. That's just the truth. So he listens more to understand. He's not listening to respond. He's listening to understand. And when he speaks first to clarify. He doesn't assume that he understands. You need to understand it. It's very, very important. Excellent communication skills. He communicates in context. All right? Now, the entrepreneur has powerful visionary or foresight. He's a visionary person in the sense that he's very projective. He estimates and projects, calculates into the future. While people are still grappling with the realities of today, he's already trading into the future, taking strategic positioning of what will be and what will come. Is that the kind of entrepreneur you are? Or are you so subsumed and overwhelmed by the events of today and now? Right? Because his ability to listen, his ability to pay attention to understand what the issues are, and to observe puts him in that strategic platter where he can forecast, where he can, predict, where he can project, as a matter of fact. So he's a critical thinker. He understands critical thinking, critical planning, critical design, critical implementation. So he knows he's always ahead. He has powerful foresight. Now, the entrepreneur is very flexible. You see, this point of flexibility that talks about malleability is why a lot of people are out of business today. He knows when to quit from what is not giving the expected result. He also knows when to die there. I mean, that intuition every entrepreneur must have. Because a lot of people have lost businesses because they give up. I remember I went for a conference in Lagos, and the owner of Indomie noodles was giving, how he came, testimony of how he came to Nigeria. And this Indomie noodles that is a brand that people are today, relishing, and even other brands have come up. If he told you the story that it took him 7 years before he could break even in Nigeria. The first year, nothing. The second year, nothing. People didn't want to eat it because third year, nothing. Fourth year, nothing. Fifth year. He now said if he misses it at the seventh year, he will know that Nigeria is not for noodles. And at that seventh year, ignited like fire. And the rest is what you know today. So what am I trying to say? Flexibility. Knowing how to adjust is very, very important. Going with the trend of time. He understands, like today, if he wasn't resident in Nigeria, being projective, if Nigerians today are buying into the noodle industry, he would have been off. But he's the one that pioneered it because of foresight. He adjusted, he kept adjusting. And do you know the strategy? It was first focused on children, like, food for kids. And of course, today you have hungry man size. So adjustability, knowing your penetrative strategy. When you have penetrated, you now know your retentive strategy. How do you retain? Then if you are now retaining, how do you maintain? If you understand those phases. And we are still going to look at the business cycle of the entrepreneur, how the entrepreneur develops or engages. We are going to look at all that. That's part of this entrepreneurship series, all right? Then there are great managers. They are great managers of themselves first because they have learned how to manage their time. They have learned how to manage their resources. They have learned how to manage their talent. They have learned how to manage their competence. As a result of the fact that they are able to manage their own first, they can now manage other people. Because basically it's about leadership. Entrepreneurship is having that capacity generally to organize different competencies around a particular business idea which promises a solution to solve a particular societal problem. Of course, at a profit, don't forget that part. But the main thing I keep saying, the profit is not the motivation. The motivation is to solve a problem. And once you solve a problem, you know that the reward is imminent. All right? Now, entrepreneurs are people with very, powerful learning. They are great learners. They understand that when they stop learning, they start dying. They never assume things. They know that there is a clear difference between what you know and what you do. They also know there's a clear difference between what you know and what you assume that you know. They look alike. Each of them have their own potency. But when it comes to making a difference or impact, like they say, you will know that khaki is not leather. In fact, let me say it well, khaki not be leather. So these are some of the fantastic qualities of the entrepreneur. The essence of this is to ask yourself, like I discovered that somebody, sent me a message, or I saw something on somebody's status that the person was doing Zobo. I thought, oh, wow. Okay, so I reached out to the person. Do you do this for yourself? Or the person responded that, oh, yeah, I do that. And I said, okay, fine. Is it for play? Is it for, for hobby, or is it for business? Because I know that one thing can lead to the other on business, but you can have mileage if you understand where you're going to from the beginning. So you can start small with a big plan in mind. So that's where I'm going to end it till I come your way again this Saturday for us to look at the business skills of an entrepreneur. So today we just looked at the personal traits of an entrepreneur. Do have a very fantastic day and catch you later. Bye for now and ciao.